Hey, what's up? This is Laidback Luke, DJ and producer, Kung Fu athlete, and dedicated dad. Sound design, the tutorial. As you might have seen on my Twitter, I am not very much a big fan of making sounds from scratch. I think it takes way too long to actually develop your own sound from scratch, losing your creativity in the moment that you need to be developing melodies or need to compress your beats or finish the arrangement of your track. And instead of finishing a track in 4 hours, you'll be spending 2 weeks on a track, which I've done as well a lot. If you have a love and interest for synths, by all means, go ahead and go focus on that. Go and do sound design and whatnot. It's a free world and I won't ever stop you. But if you ask me, as a professional, I'd say sound design comes way later on. Definitely not in the first months you are producing. First try and learn all the other stuff. I just quickly want to latch on to the comments of last week. Shout out to Nick for making the top position again. How do you do that? But he has a good point. He says music is art, and when the Rolly people say that we gotta simplify music, what's left to it? Just very simply said, you can hand a monkey a computer and you can make him learn the alphabet, but that doesn't mean he'll be able to write a book. Maybe think about that. Tom Kreinen with his $50 offer for my apartment in Miami. Let me think about it. No. So this vlog is basically a very quick walkthrough through a couple of my favorite synths right here. We're gonna go fast. If you just started out producing, I am sorry that we'll be racing through all of this. But like I said in the beginning, sound design is very much for the experienced producer. So I hope you can keep up on this one. Here we go. Strictly techno here in New York. It was amazing to be back. A lot of people came out. Sound design though. Did techno have anything to do with sound design? I'll tell you more in this vlog. So the sound design in techno really matters, but it's not about making your own sound from scratch. It's making sure you sound unique, and it's making sure that this synth works with the track and the vibe you're going for. An often overlooked synth in Ableton is a stock plugin which is called Operator. Fun fact, I found out about Operator when I started this collab with Abstract, and I found out he uses Operator a lot. People don't realize how powerful of a little FM synth this is. So over here, this oscillator is just a sinus right now. Usually people set this to like the lowest format. Now where the magic comes in is when you start using these other oscillators to run through it. So this doesn't sound spectacular at all, but wait until I shift this. And maybe this should, instead of sinus, be a triangle to give it a little bit more edge. So now here comes the magic. If you do this, and it all has to do with the envelope right here. So if I adjust the attack of this, so maybe if I add another voice to this, so there's a ton of things you can do to it. You can have the filter run through it. Let me see if I can put it on right here. This sounds kind of cool, but when you skip through these, you will instantly hear that the sound will change. We are staying in the FM realm right here, and I'm gonna dive into the mother of FM synthesis. Basically, synths like Serum and the whole dubstep sound is based on the FM8 synth, making a sound from scratch. Basically what you're hearing right now is just like a low sinus wave. But in order for it to sound like more growling, we're gonna run some oscillators through oscillator F and see if we can manufacture that. And the cool thing is the distortion on the FM8 gets really gnarly because you can feedback loop them into each other. So if you're not careful, you can easily overdo it. But for instance, E can be run through itself as well. And I'll run D through E as well. I'm gonna choose the parabol. Let's choose the parabol on this one. I'm gonna have this up onto 40. So I'm gonna take these off for a moment. And here's where the magic happens. If I use this oscillator's envelope right here, if you think this sounds too much like Skrillex, obviously you can change it and you can add some more oscillators in here. Maybe not have it run through D and through E, but have it run through F. And so now it sounds a little bit more unique. What I love doing with it, actually, with this type of knowledge, is you just choose a preset. This sounds interesting, but you don't really want to... If you really want to sound unique, you'll always choose a preset and then tweak that preset. Maybe this needs to go and distort in here. Maybe this should sound... Maybe this should be pitched up more. And boom! So within a matter of minutes, you'll sound super unique, and you get the gains of, you know, all those incredible preset makers that have spent hours and hours making this preset. I am not at all going to dive into Serum in this vlog because everyone uses Serum right now, and the purpose of good sound design is to not sound like anyone else, right? Well, in this weekend where I did a show in New York and Atlanta, my cherry on the weekend was hanging out with my daughter Evelina. With such amazing times, and it makes me proud to be her dedicated dad. I'm also gonna show you some amazing footage I took in Atlanta, but first we'll dive into one of the most famous synths in EDM around. It's the Sylenth1. This is more of the classical synth style where you have 4 oscillators as well. Over here you can pick your waveforms as well. It has you know, your typical basic waveforms. And I'm just gonna show you how to do a Dutch lead. Typically, I'd wanna start using a sine first. A little bit higher for the Dutchy sounds. I'm not sure if I like this. Maybe a soft. That's much better. And over here as well, so you have the attack right here. And what I love doing in Sylenth is typically just add this to the pitch A and B, give it a little bit of action right here, and just fool around with this. This could sound a little bit plain. Maybe just add some more voices here and a little bit of detune. This one as well, let's add 4. If this is a bit too much, you can lower that over here. Maybe it needs to be even dirtier, and what you could do is add a noise oscillator to that. What often gives it a kicker is to add these effects in here. Let's just have a look at the presets right here. Say for instance, analog lead or whatever. And you can just totally look up how it's made. So it's 6 voices. The waveform is the saw over here. 5 voices, a little bit of detune here as well. And without disregarding the presets that have been made, you can actually learn a lot from them. Reverse engineering. This is what Umed Ozkan actually said. Maybe Luke, show something like that in your vlog. And that'll be highly appreciated. But again, sound design is much more than making a sound from scratch. But where I come from and what the majority of the older generation of dance producers used to do, I'm gonna show you right after my show in Atlanta. Such a fun crowd. And the cool thing is, no one ran away because they heard a preset. What about that? I want you to think about that for a minute. No one ran away because they heard a preset. What is it that makes a song, this amazing song that everyone wants to listen to and everyone wants to dance to? Right now, I want to show you how us older producers used to do it, and the generation I come from is mainly about sampling. Sampling is so important and such a proper and integral tool for dance music or any electronic music for that matter. I'm just gonna sample a synth out of his remix that he did for me for Turbulence. Taking you on a journey. See, so that's synth. And let's see, obviously there's the bass going on, which might be used in our favor or might not work, but let's see. Not that bad. To not have a tick in the sample, I'll just do a little fade on the end. This sounds dope. I just realized I'm that old, I still say dope. And I might just want to work it a little bit differently, so I made it its own unique sample. It's on a warp, but how about I just time stretch it a little bit? So I'm just gonna move the BPM a little bit. I think this might sound unique, so let's put this in another sampler. Let's just add a huge reverb to it. Maybe some extra chorus. So obviously you could add some crazy distortion on here as well. Maybe just a super amp. And so there, with the use of a sample, is your unique sound, which didn't involve any synthesis really, and just manipulating a sample. A sound design that's different from the sound design you probably want to do from scratch. And where's the laid-back Luke fit in this vlog? Where's that Kung Fu athlete? Well, these little bros helped me through the weekend, as I had a flu and it was so tough to fly out and to perform and to get up very early in the next morning. Did my dedicated dad duties as well, taking Evelina out to ballet when I had been playing techno up until the late hours, but it's all good and all part of the game. And so now, with all this knowledge, how I actually prefer working. My preferred way of producing is layering. Usually I will browse through a bunch of presets until I find one that sounds kind of similar to what I have in mind, but I will always tweak that preset, EQ the whole bunch, saturate the whole bunch, reverb it, chorus it, you name it. And in the end, you will always sound unique because this hasn't been put in a preset yet. Make sure to check out this link below where you see how I'm working on this remix for Firebeats and how I layer and how I stack my presets to ultimately sound like totally something else. The golden ticket to your unique sound. This is what's often being said about making your presets from scratch, but I feel your unique sound is way more than that. It's how you compress your beats, it's how you arrange, it's how you make your melodies, it's how you distort things, it's how you found that unique effects plugin that you can put on everywhere and that makes it sound like you. Being unique is about creativity as well. So with every tweak you do, every beat you program, this creativity needs to be in there. But this has been a little bit of a learning curve for me as well, as I'm currently really enjoying sound designing again. But I can instantly tell that finishing off my tracks easily has doubled in time, so you might want to be aware of that. If you like my advice, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe so I can keep making new content for you. I would love to see a discussion about sound design. Write in the comments. Make sure to leave one as well. Next week, something lighter, something much lighter. I will be telling you why I always DJ with those little in-ears. I will catch you back here next week. Until then, L's up, rave safely, and salute.